Mike Bohn here in Atlanta with Jake Paul, who's just days away from facing Ben Askren. Man, it's fight week. How does it feel to actually be here and have this so close?
It feels amazing, honestly. Like, just enjoying every moment of it, having fun with the team. You know, we did all the hard work, and it all is paying off this week. And this is the fun part, man. And you know, every single sparring session that I was put through during camp, you know, will be harder than what this fight is going to be. So, really, now we're just reaping the benefits, having fun, getting to put on a show, and I'm excited to be here in the beautiful Atlanta.
I've seen a lot of open workouts in my years covering combat sports. Nothing quite like what you just did. Can you tell me the line of thinking in between what you just did there?
They put us in a room. You know what I'm saying? And I have different tactics with the way I work out, the way I do things, and like my stretching, and like I'm just ready to fight at the end of the day. So, you know, I'll come to the open workout, but it's just like, what are we doing here? Let's get the fight. I'm antsy. I want that first bell to ring, and you know, it's not like people haven't already seen, you know, how I fight or how I move around or how I shadow box. So, you know, if we were put in a ring, or you know, if it was taken a little bit more seriously, then maybe I would have taken it a little bit more seriously.
Gotcha. Did you see any of the footage of Ben's workout?
I did. Yes, I did.
Any thoughts?
I mean, he just has looked the same throughout his whole training camp, right? I mean, he's a different style of fighter. He's awkward. He comes forward. He's a bit slower. He uses his toughness to sort of get him through fights. But unfortunately, he can't take me down in this fight, and he's going to have to sit there and exchange with the 10-ounce gloves on. And it's a different sport than MMA, and I'm not impressed. You know, I'm not impressed by anything he does, and anything that he brings into the ring on Saturday, I will be prepared for it. Like I said, every single person that I've sparred against in this training camp is better than Ben Askren. So quite literally, this is the easiest sparring session.
And he was joking around in his workout a bit, like takedown, guillotine, knee, and stuff like that. Do you think it's going to be hard for him at any degree to fight his natural instincts when it comes to that? I mean, I know that we're under a certain rule set here, but he's been spending so many years doing that. Or do you have to prepare yourself for maybe some funky, not to take his nickname, stuff that might come there?
So a couple of answers to that question. The first one being, I don't think the fight will last long enough for him to even think about taking me down. The second being, if he does do something like that, his purse is eliminated in the bout agreement. So if he wants to lose all the money for the fight, then sure, go ahead. And then the third thing is, I'm beating him up in ASIC aggressors, which are wrestling shoes. So he's going to get beat up in wrestling shoes, which I think is hilarious.
So I was going to ask that because I asked him at the beginning of camp if there was anything in the contract of if he, you know, took you down or slammed you to the mat, if that would disqualify him or take away his purse. He said no, but you're saying differently.
Yeah, I mean, we just signed the bout agreement days ago. So yeah, and he will lose his purse if he does that. And I told Ben, though, after this fight is over, after I knock him out, I'll face him in a wrestling match, folk style. Let's run it, because I think that would be just as entertaining. And I have a wrestling background as well, which is why I'm repping the ASIC aggressors and why I'm going to beat him up in the wrestling shoes to sort of, you know, make a point, make fun of him at the same time. And Jake Paul versus Ben Askren wrestling match will probably happen.
What about blending it all together and doing an MMA fight? Does that appeal to you at all?
You know, maybe. I just haven't practiced kicks, elbows, knees, Muay Thai, you know, jiu-jitsu, anything like that. So I've wrestled and I've boxed, so that's sort of where I feel comfortable.
Okay. And as far as the magnitude of this event, a lot of combat sports going on this weekend. There's a UFC show, Bellator show. Do you feel like this is head and shoulders above it all? Ben said he feels it does.
Yeah, head and shoulders. I wasn't aware of any other events going on. Not to be a dick, but it's like this is one of the biggest events of the decade. Not just this weekend. You know, I've never been one to focus on a weekend. I do shit that resonates for decades and years. And the last event with Triller not only was amazingly produced, and the Triller team is amazing, and it was the 8th biggest pay-per-view of all time, but now this is even bigger. This is more exciting, and I think what people will see on Saturday will be an unprecedented event, and it's all about entertainment and the amount of celebrities, special guests, performances, there's never been an event like this in years and years, and I don't think there ever will be, unless we sort of run it back later in the year with Triller.
Yeah, do you think this is what combat sports needs to a degree? I mean, if you look at like the UFC, every show kind of looks the same to a degree. Do you think for this is kind of something combat sports needs right now?
100%. I think it needs to appeal to a bigger audience. Like I'm a fight fan. I always have been my whole life, so I understand it. But the average audience doesn't understand fighting. They don't understand the points, the rounds. They don't know who the fighters are. You could name some of the biggest boxers, biggest MMA fighters in the world to the average person, and they wouldn't know who they were. And so, how do we make the sport more appealing to a mass audience? It's all about the entertainment aspect of it and making it more than just about the fight.
To go back to the fight a little bit, I know you think it's going to end early, but if it does go into those later rounds and stuff like that, the kind of thought is that Ben is going to be trying to grab you and pull you and all those kind of things. Do you think the referee is going to be significant in how the fight plays out in that degree? If he, lets him hold you a lot, then that could make for a kind of interesting fight to that degree.
I don't think so. I don't think Ben will be able to get near me. My distance control is 10 times better than his. And if he does, he's going to get busted up on the inside. That's one thing we really worked on in this camp is my inside fighting game. So he can come in, but he's going to get cracked. And if he wants to hold me, he's just going to be losing by points because I'm going to be bop, 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 everywhere, all over him like a bumblebee. And he's not going to know where he's getting hit from, and then he's just going to grab onto me. Cool, you want to hold on to me? I'm winning by points. I'll take a break right now. But I guarantee you I'm in better shape than Ben Askren. And everyone likes to talk about his cardio, but let's say it does go into deep waters. We're prepared for that. We've been sparring 8 rounds, 9 rounds, 10 rounds against world champions, Andrew Tabiti, Jean Pascal. So, Ben Askren is sort of low on that totem pole. And like I said, anything that he does on Saturday, I will have an answer for, and he will get knocked out.
And a couple last things. I know you told me when we spoke a few months ago that Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor are on the radar for the future. They both have fights. Nate Diaz fighting Leon Edwards May 15th, Conor McGregor trilogy with Dustin Poirier July 10th. Are you hoping that they both win those fights so it further builds a match between you and them down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of what happens, those fights are massive, and a lot of people will tune into them, and I want to make them happen. I really don't care what the outcome is. It'd be pretty embarrassing for them to lose because they apparently are legends, but legends retire on top like Khabib did. So.
And last thing, leading up to this fight, I know it's been difficult for you personally. You lost someone close to you. You addressed the allegations that came out. Any of this being a distraction? Has it been difficult for you to deal with mentally in the final days and weeks leading up to this fight?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a lot. It's not easy. I've never lost someone that close to me, and I'm dedicating this fight to Shadow. And they handed me my shorts in there, and it's on the side. It says "in loving memory to Shamir." I'm getting a little teary-eyed, but I just looked at it. I was like, "Damn! Like this means a lot, man. This means a lot, and I'm gonna win it for him."
That's awesome. So it's, you're kind of using it as motivation.
100%.
Awesome. And you still predicting early knockout?
Early knockout for Shadow. Shadow said it's gonna be 228 in the first round, and he said he had a vivid dream, and he told me that the day before he passed away. So, yeah.
We'll see if it comes to light. Thank you so much for the time, Jake. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, you guys.